Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. So in this video, I'm going to discuss how to integrate Power App application into the Power BI. So you can use the Power BI or you are using a Power BI to create interactive dashboard and reports to analyze the data, right? And after analyzing the data, you may thought to take action, you may thought to update the data, you may thought to add new data, or you may thought to delete the data, meaning entire CRUD application, I mean the CRUD operation you are going to perform, create or read or update or delete anything, right? So to perform that, what we do is we create application that will perform, and here we have a Power Apps as an kind of platform that can be used to create a CRUD applications. So there you can create a new data, meaning submit new data, or you can perform the update operation on the data, or you can delete the data, whatever the actions you wanted to take, you can take the data, even you can view the data, right? All the kind of features are available with that application. Even you can build the business logics also. So my requirement is like, I would like to read the data from Excel, right? And this data will be loaded into the Power BI reports, and dashboards will be created based on that. Okay, so I may want to take an action to perform something. So what I will do is I'll use the Power Apps here, Power Apps, right? And obviously from the Power BI, I'll pass data to Power Apps. Inside the Power Apps, I'll update the data. I will make the changes. I'll take an action. I will trigger the flows. Whatever the actions are there, or whatever the things that can be done, I will do that. Right. So after this, if someone try, or if you think that we can update the data into Power BI data source directly, so you cannot do that. Meaning in the Power BI, you cannot do that because Power BI datasets are read-only datasets. You cannot write back to the Power BI, but you can write back to the source. So from where the Power BI is reading the data. So again, what I will do, I will submit the data to the Excel, and this could be the updated or the new one. Right. So this is the scenario where we supposed to create, or we supposed to use the integration between the Power Apps and Power BI. So let's understood how to update. So let me clear my drawing. And so in Power BI, there is a visual called Power Apps for Power BI. So if you click on the new page, I am just creating another page for the application. To run the application, I'll say Power App. It is not necessary to use the same name. You can use any name for your page, right? So here I selected this visual. Now the data which you want to send to the Power Apps from Power BI, you're supposed to select the data from your model. Okay, so based on the relationship and all, everything can be selected here. So first of all, I'll select this. This is a unique ID that got created when someone tried to create a record or update a record from the Power Apps, or when someone connect to the Power Apps, right? Then I'll say employee ID, then employee name, then department, then I'll go to the leave type, and then start date. Okay, so start date is like start date only. It should not be a hierarchy of date. And then I'll select the end date. Again, it should be in date format only. Then leave status. Before that, I would prefer to use the number of days, because start date and end date is going to be used for the number of days calculation, right? And then I'll say leave status. So leave may be approved, leave may be not approved or pending, right? So here I saved this Power BI. You can choose the application. Okay, so if I go to the Power Apps, if I come to the application, I have created sometime before I created a blank application, and that is leave tracker application. Even I can create my own application now also. So let me create the new application so that it will be a good example for you instead of using the existing one, right? So I'm creating an application that I'll use to perform the CRUD operation on the data. And what I'll do, I will okay, this is the screen container. Let me just pick one component on the screen. That's it. I'm not going to do anything. Later I'll delete this. I don't need this. But to save the application, I will say leave app update, or I can say leave tracker CRUD application, right? So this is what the name I have given to my application, right? It will save. So let's wait until this saved applications, all the changes are saved. And now if I go back to the app list, it should show me the application there. And obviously we created, so it should show. Sometime it will take a time, but yes. So now this is like 57 minutes ago. Let me delete this. I don't need this application. Instead of that, the new application which I created just now should be reflected here. It sometimes it takes a couple of minutes, sometimes it will be a very quick, right? And if I go, I created one application. Now if I select the choose from app, okay, so okay, still it is not showing here. So let me go back, and until the time it gets populated here, you supposed to sometime it will take 4 or 5 minutes. It depends. Sometime it will be shown in the second only, in few seconds only, right? So demo collection app, okay, this is something different. I need to wait. Let me try to create the one more application and try to save with the same name, then it might come. So even I'll say make.powerapps.com. It takes 4 minutes, 5 minutes. We can't say because this is a cloud based thing. So we supposed to wait, or we supposed to give the time, sufficient amount of time to reflect the things. I will say apps. Okay, still this is not populating. Okay, and I'm trying to create a new application. Okay, let me just say save this application instead of this. Let me pick this as a one part. It is just showing today's date. And let me say save. So I will say leave tracker. Same application I'll try to create, leave tracker CRUD app. Let me try to save this. If the application name is different, it will be saved. If the application name is same, in that case, it will show the message that the application is already exist with the same name. Right, why this is not showing, I'm not sure. Let me remove the container. And yeah, this is showing the date. Let me save it again. All right, let's refresh this. Might be the earlier application didn't get submitted. Yeah, two times I created. This is a leave tracker CRUD app. Again, this is not showing. Let me try to see that here. Okay, so it is not showing, but no worries. Okay, it will populate in some time, but we don't have choice to do something else. We need to wait. I will say leave this application and okay. Now you can see two applications are there. One is created 4 minutes before. One is created 50 seconds, 1 minute before. And leave tracker. Okay, this is wrong spelled, so I will delete that. Right. So as I said, sometimes it takes more time. Sometimes it may be a very quick. So now what I will do, I can see that application here. Okay, if I go and say choose, you can see leave tracker CRUD application. But if you select the application here and if you try to edit that, so whatever the data available on your local, because this Power BI is available at your local. If you try to fetch the data in the Power Apps, so data will not be there. It will be a blank. So let me demonstrate this also. So let me select this and I'll say add, and it will show this to open the app. Okay, it is opening the application, no issues, and it has created. Okay, so what it does, it integrate it make the integration between this report and Power Apps. So I need not to keep other windows open. Instead of this, and since this data set is available on my local, so we will not be able to see the data. Okay, and if I go to the Power BI service, so I'll show you how this is going to work. Now you can see this is got getting added when we select the app from the desktop. Right, this is what getting added. Right. So now if I try to access the data, let me delete this, and if I try to, sorry, not the date picker one, I would like to insert the data table here. So data table I'll select, and here I will pass Power BI integration dot data. Okay, and in the fields, if you see, there is nothing to select. There is nothing. Why? Because we started building the application from the Power BI desktop. So what you should do, you should not start from there. Okay, you should start from service. Right. So let me remove this. I removed that. I will add the new visual. I'll add the data. This is this, then this, and leave type, then start date, end date, and number of days, and then leave status. Okay, all these things I want. I don't want this in the hierarchy. I don't want this again in a hierarchy. I don't want this data to be summarized. Right. And this is the status, or this is the window I'll keep. And I will go and I'll publish this to the Power BI service. I will use MS Fabric as a workspace. Even we can use the different one. It is not a problem. So let me say replace. Okay, with the same name, there is one more Power BI report on the service. So it asked me to replace. I replaced. It got published, right? And we won't be able to see data here. So what I need to do is I need to go to the service, open the application, right? And once you open the application, we selected fields here, but we have not selected application. So let me open and say choose application. So it will give me the again list of applications available in the Power Apps. I will use this and I'll say add. And now, since the data is available on the service, so it will get integrated and my data, whatever the data is available or whatever the data we selected for this visual from the Power App will be populated in this. Right. So this is the gap that we filled. So always make sure that whenever you want to integrate the Power Apps into the Power BI, your report should be published on the service only. Okay, you can say override. Now I'll remove this and I will again pick the data table. Okay, so let's pick the data table and pass the data source as a Power BI integration dot data. And now if I go to the fields, you will be able to see all the fields are listed here. Earlier it was not there. Then employee ID, then employee name, then department, then leave type, then start date, then end date, then total days, and then leave status. This is how in the order you make the selection. This will add the table in the same order. Right. So I will shorten this table to show only 5 records. Okay. This is what the data already available in my Power Apps. So now we have to design an application that will perform the create or update or delete the data, right? CRUD application we have to design. So what I will do, I will, first of all, I will design the form. Okay. So you can use the form controls like edit form or display form. So if I search for the form, you can see this, anything you can use. But the problem is that the Power BI is like a collection. So that will not give you the schema. And if the schema is not available, you cannot use the form control. So it is always better to use the your input controls to design the form when you are working with the collection. So we can infer the schema from source to the I can say source to the collection, but that we will see later. At this moment, just consider that we don't have a schema. So I cannot use Power BI as a source for my edit form and all. Okay, even if you want to try, you can try, and you will see that it will not show the fields. But yeah, still we can design the form. It's not like we cannot design the form. So if I use the form control, okay, let me over the mouse and I have 8 fields. So this app field is getting automatically generated. So we need not to worry about that. But from employee ID onwards, we supposed to use the fields, right? And even I'll use the headers for this. Okay, so I will add, let me use the text label as an headers. And if I put this here and if I drag this until the end, then do a little bit alignment and the formatting. So size, and then even we can change the font color, we can change the background also. So I'll use this one, right? And now it's time to edit the text. So update leave data. Right. So this is my header. This is my form control. And as a data source, I can give. It's not like I cannot use this. I can use, but the problem I will show you. It will not show any field. So you need to add the custom cards and 3, 4, 5, 6. For 8 fields, I'll add 8 cards. Right. I have added 8 cards and I will say this is 2 column structure. And now position of card and all can be managed. So why I can make this as 100. This is again I can make this as 100. I'm going to change the height for each of the card. So by default height is 200, but that will be a very big. Right. So I will select these two. Okay, let's move this. Okay, not this, but let me say 100. Okay, so you will not be able to move the cards easily. This alignment and all the things are a manual. Even you can add now text labels and then input controls to design the form. So you are able to design the form. It's not like you cannot use the form, but everything you need to do, right? So instead of this, I would prefer to design my own form. This is the label one. So I will say this is header leave update as an leave data update. Okay, this is the header, right? So we can design the form. We can use the input controls. So I will use the text input. Let me say this, and this is like employee ID for me, and I can say input. Okay, this is not an input, so I will say label employee ID, right? So like this, I just created a copy instead of adding the new one, and this is taking a time. Okay, so I will use the next field here as an employee name. So this will be the label for employee name. So let me make this as a employee name. Then again create a copy of this. And this is like department. And this is the label of department. Again, I'm creating a copy. I need label 8 labels. So I'm going to use this. Then I'll use leave type, label leave type. And here I'll be saying leave type. Right. Again, I will select all 4. I will say Control C, Control V, and I'll create a copy of all the fields here. for next fields. So I don't want to do this update. So it is this is for the start date. So I will say start date, and here again I will say leave, not leave. It is a label start date. Right. This is for my end date. So end date. This is label for end date. Then so I will say number of days, and this is for the leave status. Right. So all these things are ready now. For the label wise, we are still to add input fields. We will add that, no issues. And here, if I say number, or I can say total days, right? So total days, I'll use total days, right? So this is done. Label wise, we are done. So now we supposed to add the input fields here, and let me. I'm not designing it too much on this side. I'm just using the controls. Okay. So here I don't want to use these, or okay, we can even we can use the employee ID here. I can show you the drop down. So let's say employee ID, and to show the drop down, meaning I should give a feature so that user can select the employee ID instead of entering the employee ID. So I selected this, and here I can give the name as an input employee ID, right? So the sample or items is like, you are supposed to say here Power BI integration dot data, right? But by default it will return something else. If I click on this, if I go to the properties, you can see in advance you will be able to see. Okay, it is showing the list of departments. If I run this temporary, it is showing me the department. I don't want to do this. I want to use the employee ID, and even in the search field also you should use the employee ID, and in the find items instead of that you should say employee ID, right? So this will take a time. Let me save this to start working or start reflecting. Now let me, okay, I'm able to see the list of employee IDs. So you should meaning, see, when you use the combo box, you should define the data source for the items. You can even define the column name here also. Even in that case also it is going to work, right? So this will work. But if you don't define here column name, you should go and define the display field. So for the that combo box, as an this one, then input text placeholder I added, and default field I added, and search field even I used. Okay, this is a search field, and here I filled, but this is not the important one. Here it should be employee ID, right? So now sometime before it was showing employee ID, now it is showing these. Okay, something went bad. Let me go to the properties. I think it got changed automatically to the this, and search field is employee ID, and now everything is employee ID. Now if I save and now run, so that fills. So combo box, when you are using the combo box, so that properties can get changed automatically or affected. To avoid that, you can simply select combo box, go to the items, and then here you should type the column name. That will be the great choice. But the problem here, what will happen if I use the column name, I'll show you in some time. Okay, so now for the employee name, I am going to use the input field. So even we can use the any other field here. So because this is like, so what I will do is data table. Okay, so default is like data table one dot selected dot employee name, right? So this should show me the name of employee which is selected in this. And why I did, I'll tell you in some time. Okay, so here because I wanted to edit the this table data based on this selection. So I'll if any employee has multiple rows, then how you will update the specific data. So to do that, what I did is I selected the, I used this field as a whatever the record I'll select in this table, that record will be updated. But how to filter that record, that will come to the last expression, or when we will try to update. At that time I'll tell you the logic what on how you can do that. Okay, so fine. So here the employee ID is like this. Okay, and then whatever I selected here, it shows the name for that. Then department again, I wanted to show the department list instead of using this selected value. So instead of selecting populating the selected value, I would like to select so that people can update the department also. So I will say input here, this is the employee name, and now again I'll pick the combo box, go to the input and pick the combo box. You can even pick the drop down also, right? So here, okay, and this is a sample. So what I will do is I will use, okay, but I don't want to use the value from selected data table row. I want to use the data or list of unique values. So I will say Power BI dot data dot department, right? This will work for me. It's not like it is not going to work. But if you see, it is returning each row value. It is not giving me the unique value. Okay, I want to get the unique value. What I can do, or what you should supposed to do to get the unique value. Obviously, you will be in a position to tell me that you should use the distinct function. Yeah, and I'm going to do the same. So this is my source, and I want to get the distinct value from the department. So I selected this. Okay, fine. If you do this much, this will not be sufficient, right? Okay, so this is giving me the list of values. Okay, and if you see the attributes, if you see the attributes, what an all advanced property shows, so it should show the value, right? It should show the value, hash value. If you don't get this list, And if you are getting a blank, so in that case you can use the value attribute also. So this is even going to work, and this is even going to work. So sometime that without value will not work, so you need to use that one. Dot value you should use. Okay. So here in find items, instead of find items, I should say department, not yes, I should say department only, right? Similarly, okay, so I will say input department. Similarly, I will select one more combo box, and here it is. I'll place here, and now I would prefer to use the distinct now, then power apps dot data, and now I will use the expression as a leave type. Okay, so again, if I play this, it is showing me the 3 or 4 types of leave. That's it. This is what I want. Right. Then for the start date and end date, you should use the date picker, because we should not use the input. So date picker is the good choice to work with the date in Power Apps. So you will end up defining the start date and end date. Right. So I will say this is like input leave type. This is like input start date. This is like input end date. Right. Now what I will do, I will use the input field here, one for the total number of days, and even you can use the text label also. And instead of value, I'm going to show you here something like date difference, because I have to take a difference between 2 days, 2 dates in number of days. So I will say input start date, and then okay, start date dot selected date, then the difference is like end date, input end date dot selected date, and the unit in, by default unit is in day, right? So if the date is same, meaning user is trying to apply the leave for 1 day, right? So if the date is same, so it should not be a 0 day, it should be a 1 day. So this is how I use the logic. And now again I would okay, this is the text input 3, so I will say input total days, then insert. Okay, insert. So I'm going to say insert a combo box, because leave status again the list of 4 or 5 values, different types of 4 or 5 values. So here I would say this, and this should not be a find item, this should be a leave type. So go to the advanced and type here leave types or leave type. Then here I will say, okay, I supposed to enter the data or select the data. I will do that, but before that I should say here leave status. And now what I will do, I will go here and I will say use the distinct function, then Power BI integration dot data. So we received the data from Power BI, and then let me say leave status column. Right. So everything so far, whatever we are able to see on the screen is coming from the Power BI. Okay. Even here, I will say data table 1 dot selected dot start date, so that it should select the current date, whatever is there. A date period is selected for the data application. And here again, I will say data table 1 dot selected dot end date, right? So this is how it should work. So 4 to 9 is 6 days of leave. You can calculate. Even if I go to this, it is showing me the 6 status, right? So I'm almost done with the form design, but this is just to update. If you want to create a new, we supposed to provide the feature, right? We will do that. Now the question is where to submit the data. Obviously, we are going to submit the data to the source. We are going to submit the data to the source. Not we cannot write back to the Power BI. We should write back to the source, right? So I will write the function there to update, but instead of displaying the button, I will say update leave, right? So this is the button I'm going to use. Okay. Now I'm going to provide the another feature for this button. I selected a button. Okay. And I will say apply for or raise leave request, right? So if someone click on this button, so he should go to the data source where he can submit the new data, or he can submit the new leave request, right? So we have started creating application now. And if I close this, okay, even this I can keep here, right? And this is my update leave. Even you can surround this entire form in container. That is fine. You can designing and beautification is completely your part. So how you think and what you like is different, right? So now I would like to update the data, but I'm going to update the data in Excel file. Okay, what I will do, I will add the data. I supposed to add that Excel as an source. Then and then only it will work, because how Power BI will know where to update the data. So we will select that file, and from that Excel file we will select the specific table also. If I go down, this is my file, and let me select the table. So this is the table, and I'm going to connect with this. So it should insert, or I will say use this one, and this is the field value I'm going to use, right? So now data set or data source is added, right? Data source is added. I am going to make the selection for all these fields, and then this should go and update. So if you are updating something, okay, if you are updating something, so you should use the patch function. Even you can use the update function also, but instead of that, patch is good. And we discussed the patch function in my previous video, so I would prefer to go with this. But I will discuss what is the difference between update and patch in my coming videos. So let's start, and I'm going to update the Excel as a new detail. This table I'm going to update. Then you are supposed to find the record, which record you wanted to filter. So here we have something called Power Apps ID column 1 in Excel, which is equals to data table 1 dot selected dot Power Apps ID, right? This is the one which is unique. And what it says, incompatible type for the comparison. This type can't be compared to control and text. Okay, this can be used like this. Invalid argument type boolean, record value instead. Okay. Okay, so this can be used. It's not like we cannot use this, but let me try continuing with employee ID first. Okay. And then we will define how to filter. So let me try to use the employee ID here. Employee ID column 1 dot, why it says column 1 and all, not dot, then is equals to, I should say employee ID, input employee ID dot selected. I'm going to select only one dot employee ID. Right. Again, this is giving the error for the incompatible type. So control and all this is okay. So here, if I say value, this is not going to work. This is even not going to work. Right. So let me see the details. We will write this. No issues. Let me make this blank at this moment, and let me add the new screen. One more blank screen, and here what I will do is I will use the edit. Now you can use the edit form because we have a schema here. Right, and I selected this source. Let me zoom out, and now you can select the fields, what and all fields you are supposed to update. So employee ID, employee name, then department, then leave type, then it should show the start date, then end date, and then let me say total days, and then leave status. Okay, so these many fields should be shown on my form. Okay, and since the schema and all things are ready, so I use this. Even my in my Excel, this field is start date and end date is in text format, right? So what I would do, I would prefer to use that in the text. Okay, so user can enter, but if they enters, it will not calculate here. So again, we will use the date picker and all for this, but I just wanted to show you this is going to work. And in the form control, instead of 3, I would prefer to have the 2 columns. Let me pick this and we can use this, right? So this is the one. Okay, parent. So there is nothing like employee ID dot one and all. So why it is showing? Let me check. So the column name is as it is employee ID. It's not like employee ID column one and all. So let me use the patch once again. Patch and leave details. Okay, and here I will say lookup. Okay, so we are okay. We are going to filter the data, and here I will say power. Okay, same columns are coming from the two different source, that maybe because of that it is showing like this. So I will say data table one dot selected dot this. Okay, and this is not the actually invalid. Okay, so I will say leave details, and then I should say this, right? So in the lookup, you should say first as a data source, then your condition should come. And now we will think on the error. What is the error? Incompatible type for the comparison. Control and text can't be okay, can't be compared. Okay. So now what I will do, I will write a formula to update the records. So let me open this, and here I will say employee ID. Employee ID from leave date is equals to input employee ID dot selected dot employee ID. Then employee name. Okay, then employee name, input employee name dot text. Then department, input department dot selected dot value. Right, why this is text? Okay, and why this is value? Because we used distinct and all here. And now I will write a function, write a formula for start date. Start date is equal to input start date dot selected date, then input end date dot selected date dot, okay, it's not date dot, then total days, total days is equals to, here we can use the value and all, but if it throw the error, in that case only, okay, we will see. If it doesn't throw the error, we need not to worry. So let's say here total days is equals to input total days dot text. Okay, this is in the text format. Leave status, again I will use the input leave status. So you should map each and every field properly dot selected value, right? And after the department, I supposed to use the leave type here. I'm just following the order. In the order, form fields are there. I'm just trying to, okay, arrange the fields in the same order, right? Now we are left with this logic, why this is not working, but okay, it is fine. If this is not working, then I will say employee ID is equals to employee ID, right? But the problem with the employee ID, I will let you know. But since we are going to make the changes with the selected records, we supposed to use the unique ID there. So we should go and use the Power Apps ID, but that is throwing the error. So we will figure out a way why and how we can fix that. But now my formula is ready to patch to update the data. Right. So this is what my formula. And here, if someone wants to raise a new request, what you can do is you can simply say raise. You can navigate them to the screen two. So this is my screen two. And if you want to pass the data or do the some kind of transition and all, I don't want to do anything. So I will do. And then context here, you can, but Power BI integration data will be available there, right? So I need not to worried about that. Even the data sources will be available here. So if I go to this, okay, why this is in single Right, leave status, end date, everything is there. So now this form is designed so all the cards are locked for the editing, but yeah, you can do a editing. And here, people, you see, people should not be able to enter the employee ID. At least they should be in a position to make the selection, right? So you can change these fields, settings, and all. Here, the way I updated, you can write here the formula for the drop down. Even you can go to the advanced and you can say unlock to change. Okay, and remove that field. You can use the combo box there also. And here, okay, so I will use this like this. And here I can say power BI integration dot data dot employee ID. Right, if I play this, yeah, I can search and I can make the selection of employee ID. Yes. Now, this is the one thing I did. Okay, what it says, what is the error? So data card value dot one. Okay, so we are not using the data card here. Okay, so we should use the another field here. What we selected, combo box 5, right? So we should edit this combo box 5 dot selected dot employee ID. And one more error is looks like, so in Y column, okay, so this Y field, this is the value for the height and all. So I will say this is like data card value 1. Okay, so the data card value 1 is not there. So I will use combo box 5 dot Y. I will use combo box 5 dot Y. Right, and if I play the application, it is working fine. So the way I changed it for the employee ID, you guys can change it for start date and then end date. Even click on the card and okay, department. Even we should go and change it for the department also. So this is all the cards are logged for the editing. So let me use the combo box here for the department. And here power BI integration dot data dot. Okay, so instead of this, I should prefer distinct. This is my source and this is my department column, right? So, okay, it is giving me the departments. Now let me say this is what is the combo box and all. If I select this, so the control is combo box 6. Okay, so I would say combo box 6 dot selected dot value. So we will try to create new one also. Then we will see how to delete and all. Right. Entire CRUD operation we are going to perform. Let me use this. So this is how the things are going to work. So I will say combo box 6. And again here I will say combo box 6. So they are dynamically calculating the height for the element. That's it. Nothing apart from this. Start date. I should use the, let me enable this for the editing. So this is unlocked and I should use the date picker, right? And now if I go to the editing, so what to update? So date picker 3 dot selected date, right? And then if I go to this here, I will say date picker 3 and even date picker 3. If you noticed, I have a date picker on the screen 1 also, here also, but it is not showing. So this scope or this item scope is limited to this page only, right? So those items created or added on the screen 2 will not be shown on the screen 1. Now employee name, I can populate this, but we should return something here. So what I will do, I'll use the lookup here. So let's say lookup. I am going to look up in the leave details table. Oh, but yeah, I supposed to look up somewhere else, right? Because see, ideally this should come from the user tables or the list of user tables. So, but here I'm using the only leave details. So let me even keep this as a default. So let me say parent dot default, because user should be in a position to enter the employee ID. Let's say when a new employee is trying to apply for the leave, so I will use parent. The rest of the things are fine. Parent dot default, right? So edit formula. Okay, this should not be a, this should be a text box. Rest of the things are fine, but I should not have edited the employee ID, because if the employee ID, but yeah, when user try to submit the new request, he should, because see, if I populate the employee from available data, so new users will not be able to populate, or new users will not be able to find their employee ID. So let me say employee, okay, not this, default is like, it should be blank, and here text input 4 dot text, right? And again it should say text input 4, and instead of combo box it should say text input 4. Okay, rest of the things are fine. Let me edit this one also. So let me use the date picker for the end date, and here, okay, by default it is showing today's, so I need not to worry it. Default date is today's date. So here what to update, so like date picker 4 dot selected date, and here again date picker 4 dot date picker 4 dot height. Okay, right, total number of days I'm going to calculate here. So I'll use, okay, let's unlock this, and same formula, date difference, then I will say date picker 3 3 dot selected date, comma, date picker 4 dot selected date. This is the value, and it should show the difference in unit, like day. Time unit dot days plus 1, because if the dates are same, it should show 1. Right, rest of the calculation it will do automatically. It's not a problem. Then leave status, again it can be a drop down. So like I can add the combo box here. Okay, let me use this. Instead of adding the or writing the leave status manually, I would prefer to bring the values from this source. Right. So here what I will do, I will use okay, I should use the distinct formula first. So distinct, then Power BI integration dot data and the comma and the leave status. Right. So this should give me the unique list. And let me go here. Okay, combo box 7. Okay, dot selected items. Not selected items, it should be selected dot value. Right. And last field I'm going to edit so that I can show you, I can add new data also. So let me say here combo box 7. Combo box 7. Fine. So yeah, we are good. And now since this is a form, so we can use the simple control here, form submit. All these fields are automatically tagged. So I can use on select submit form, and then I will say form 2, right? And I can say stay back on this screen, right? And here, so raise submit leave request, I can say submit leave request. And here instead of this, again I will use this navigate to screen 1, because if you want to update leave request. Right. So this is how the application is ready. Let me save this, and we will play this application from the Power BI. Okay, fine. So this is a pretty much simple application I created. See, you saved the application, but you are supposed to publish the application. Until and unless you publish the application, you will not be able to okay, do the publication for one more time. And now this application will be loaded. If you go here and if I refresh this, whatever the new application we have created will be loaded in the Power BI, and you will be able to play the application. Okay, let's wait. Okay, might be still that publication is not yet triggered or updated on the cloud. So it is showing. Let me go back. Let me close this report and go back to the Fabric workspace, and let me try to access the report once again. Oh, the application is already selected. Looks like I forgot to save the selected application. I should say add and then skip. And then I'm going to allow it. I will say save. Okay, this is how it was missed. Otherwise, once the application gets published, it should load the application in the Power BI. And now you can see live tracker CRUD operation is ready. Now what I will do, I would like to add the data here. So if you go and if you see, I have a data for 101 rows, meaning including the header. I have a data for 100 rows. So E0101 I'm going to add now. Right. So if I go to this, I will say raise live. Okay. Getting your data, it is still showing the form. Okay, it should show the form, but it is not showing. Okay, let's load the data or load the application once again. Okay, this page is working fine, but it is not, it is navigating to the another page, but this form is not getting loaded. Okay, let me play the application here. Oh, no item to display. Okay, the problem I know, and the problem is that we are going to submit a new form, but I selected this display mode as a edit. So it until you populate the data in all the fields, this edit form will not be shown. So let me try to save this. So you should say that the default mode for the form should be new. Then it will work. Otherwise, it is not going to work. Right. So let's wait until this gets published. So do the publication at least 2 times to make sure. And you will get a notification here to use the data for from the Excel, because I see, and if you don't see that notification, that means the your app, newly published app, is not populated. So refresh once again. As I said, it is a cloud based platform, so it takes couple of minutes. Sometimes it takes 1 minute, sometimes it takes 5 minutes. And now if I go here, you can see this is what this. So I will say E0101. This is the new, and the employee name is like Deva. Okay, as a new employee, I'm going to submit. Let's say I am from the finance department, and I'm going to apply the leave for this date to this date, 8 to 10. Okay, so 8, 9, 10. So this is showing me 3 days. Yeah, so this is true, right? Whatever the number of days I'm seeing here is correct. And then leave status is still, I'll keep this as a pending because this is not approved, and I will say submit leave. Okay, great. So sooner it, since I used the back function, sooner it submitted the data, it came back here. So whatever the data inserted into the Excel file, you will not be able to see that data immediately. It will take time to sync from cloud to this local version, because we are reading the data from local version. So if I go to the OneDrive, right click on the file, and then if I go and select the view online option from the OneDrive, here you will be able to see that option or that record, I can say, not option. So this is what the record for 3 days I updated or I added, right? So we are able to insert the data from the Power BI. We are playing the Power BI application inside a, sorry, Power App application inside a Power BI. Right. So user need not to shuffle between two different environments, two different systems, right? And he can do everything from Power BI only. Right. Now, if you want to see the updated data, so let's wait until this get okay. This is now synchronized. So if I open this, you will be able to see. Okay, so this is a both side synchronization. If cloud gets updated, this should get updated. Now, if I refresh the Power BI, so now see here, if I search for the employee ID E0101, it's not there, right? But now, if I go to the Fabric and let me configure the credentials for this data source. Okay, data source. Okay, let's wait. Yeah, I already configured. If it is not, then you will see the warning icon there. And now I am good to refresh this. It will not take much time. It will be just 1 or 2 minutes. Right. So this got updated. Now, if I open the Power BI report, you will see here the newly added data. And if I search E0, you can see two options, right? If I select this, okay. So if I select this, it is not doing anything. But let's say I don't want to see the data for all the employees here. I wanted to see the data for which employee I'm going to update, right? So I will do that. I'll update this application. If I play this and come here, okay. So what I can do, I can select the data table 1 and I'll apply the filter here. Whatever the value I'll select. So I will use the filter here as an filter function. Okay, let's say filter, and this is what the source, and I would like to filter the source based on the employee ID is equals to that input employee ID dot selected dot employee ID. Right, this is what my filter. Now let me save this, because if I use the if I don't use this, you will see everything here, and few of my fields are populated from the selected item. So I want to make sure that it should show me the data only for the selected employee to whom I'm going to update. So people will go and update, select the employee ID here. This data should get filtered. This is what I'm trying to make. Do the publication 2 times. It will sometime it will not populate immediately. So I'm doing this for 2 times. It's not a rule that you should do it for 2 times. So you can do it for 1 time until the time you get a warning to use the Excel. You can say this, the updated app is not published, right? So I will say hello now. Now you can see if I select here E100, sorry, E010 and this. So this has only one record, right? Okay, it is fine. So I can update this. So I will show you. Let's say the user here status is pending, and it will be updated, right? So after submitting, so let's say the manager or someone who has rights. So the department is finance. It is fine. Even we can populate the department from this selected item also. And since this is a type of leave, I supposed to select. Okay, so leave type is not selected while submitting data, but yeah, that, so since that is a blank, but I should select. I can update this as a casual leave. and dates are fine for me, and the status I would like to approve, and I will go and update. Right. So now the things are changed. Right. So this is updated. Again, this data is updated in the Excel, not in my cloud. Again, I will go and let me create the same employee ID E1 E0101, and this is from the finance department. Okay. Then employee name is Deva. Okay. Leave type. So I must have brought the or I must have used the combo box here, but I'll input the value here as an casual for the time being. I can select the dates from December. Let's say I would like to be take a leave for the 5 days, and if I go to the December, this is 1 to 5. If I say okay, this is 5, and then leave status is pending. Let me say submit leave request. It will submit and it will go back to the data. Right. Again, I'll come to the workspace. Let me close the report, and then you need to wait. We submitted new record at 9:26, and this is not updated. Okay, 9:26. Let me go to the online so that it will get updated immediately. Okay, but you will see the status here. This is as a casual leave, right? Even okay. Incorrect field I mapped, I believe. So here it is updating casual, but here it should be updating status. Instead of that, it updated. So 5 days leave is submitted, but this is what the mess. So here, if I go to the leave status, in the patch function, we must have selected the incorrect field. So leave type I selected. Instead of that, input leave status. Okay, why I'm not seeing leave status? Leave type is there. Oh, this is a combo box 4. So I should say input leave status. This is how it got missed. This should not be missed. So I will say input. Now it should say leave status. Right. And let me save the application. Okay, so this data is there in the Excel. Let me save the application. Let me publish the application. I will do the correction now. Right, I can do the correction. It's not a problem because we have a functionality to update, and I am updating, but I'm waiting. This file should okay. This is updated at 6:25. Now I'm good to okay. Let me check the data. This got updated to the last one record. Okay, so 5 days and all got updated. Let me go back to the Power BI and refresh. See, I'm using import mode here. That's why I need to refresh. But if let's say you are using a direct query mode, in that case, you did not to refresh. Sooner it get populated in the source, it will be reflected in your Power BI. You need not to come and refresh. Right. So if you are using import mode, in that case, you can schedule a refresh for the couple of times. And that is again subject to your license and all. Okay, so this is updated at 6:21. If I go here, it is loading. It should pop up for the source. Okay, it is not popping, giving the warning or giving the message. That means the new application is not reflected or updated application is not reflected. It should ask for the permission to use the Excel file, right? Then you can say it is updated, right? So now leave status, you will be in a position if I go to the right. So this is how things are updated and I don't want to do anything. So I wants to just update. But the problem, I'll tell you what is the problem. So now here it is showing me two different same email ID is there for the same employee. Two records are there, right? Because the employee has applied leave for the two different dates, and now it is showing the two records. Why? Because this is not giving me. I did not used here the distinct function for the all rest all other I used, but here I have not used, right? So let me use that. So this is the problem you can overcome by using the distinct function. So no matter what field you are using, but you should use the distinct, right? And now, yes, okay, what it says. So now it is saying edit. Okay, instead of this I should say value, right? Let me save the application and reload it. So this is how the errors will be fixed even if I, okay, so data table one dot selected, this is not a problem. The problem is here, this employee ID should not be there, it should be a value, right? So application is saved, go and publish. I'm trying to demonstrate each and every possible issues while you develop the application so that you will be in a position to get this done easily, right? So now I published, let me reload. So whenever the application is published, you are supposed to reload, otherwise it will not use the updated field or updated formulas, right? So it should again ask me for the Excel access, and yes, right. So here I will go and I'll show you the problem is 01001. Now it is showing me only one. Okay. Here I have a two records. Everything will be same. So since I populated the fields from selected and all, you can populate the department, leave type. It is not going to affect. And what will happen if I try to update this now? Okay. Okay. It is fine. So even leave types are this, right? And let me say this updated, okay, casual. So this is what I wanted to update. I'll try to update the second record. Okay, I'll select the second I selected, and Deva, and then department is like finance, then leave type is casual leave, it is fine. Leave status should be approved. It was picked as an casual because I filled incorrect formula. Now if I say update, how it should behave is what something you are going to see, because we applied a filter. What it will update is what I wanted to see. Okay, so now this got submitted, and if I go to the OneDrive and if I say view online, so this should show me the data here. If I open this, this will get, okay, this is updated, right? So this one is updated, dates and all and everything is updated, right? And it is perfectly fine. So approved status is only thing I changed, and it got updated. Now let me try to update something else. For the same employee, if I go here and if I select the first record, and I don't want to approve the leaves for those many days. So let's say, okay, 11:30. I'm going to make this as a first, and I'm going to make this as a 5. So this is what the date submitted. This got changed because of time issue between the time zones. So the Power App time zone is US time zone looks like, and I'm submitting from the IST. So it is showing for 5 days. I don't want to do this for the 5 days. I would like to approve the leave for only 3 days. So I'm approving only for 3 days. Okay, why this is showing the casual? Okay, this is something. Okay, this will get updated when this reports and everything is updated. Now I am trying to modify the second record, right? So not three. Okay, I'm making two, 5 to 2, and let's say leave update. I'm going to update the leave for 2 days only. So 3 and 3 will be the same record. Then again, it will be confusing. And you can see here dates are like this only, 11:30 to 12:04. But yes. So this is again I modified. I did that manually, but we can control the fields. Right. So if I go and say view online, this should show me the updated data. But the problem, what happened? It is always updating the first record. It is not updating the second record. It is not updating the second record. And that's the issue. That's the issue with the patch function. Okay. It is fine that we are able to update, but it got updated incorrect record, right? So the record which I wanted to update. So here I have a unique identifier. I have a unique identifier of power app key, right? So when this record got created, so what I should do is I should use that. And now let me do a troubleshooting on that, because see, you are at the time of creating record, we need not to pass anything. Power app will do ID and all everything. But here from the leave date, okay, if I say this is equals to this, and then I can get the text or order or visible. Okay, I can get the text. And here selected dot, okay, power app ID is there in my, okay, yes, it is there, power app ID, right? So why am I using power app ID? So that it should update the specific record. It should not mess. So it is completely based. Let's say if your filter is not applied on the unique ID, your data could be wrong, right? So let me go back here, and the application is saved. Let me publish the application. Okay, I'm publishing. So it will populate the more changes. The earlier changes again we did sometime before. That will again populate even the data we submitted. Okay, now I have to do the correction. Again, I'll go back, and I supposed to fetch the updated data, but it's 37. So it should show 637 is the last updated or synchronized data. So I have a data updated then. Right. So let me refresh this. And the report got refreshed at 638. If I update or if I try to fetch this application, so nothing is selected, and I would like to update the data for the, okay, again, this is not sorted. So I will show you how to sort this, because we picked the unique, but we have not sorted this. Now, the problem is that I supposed to update this record. It got updated for this one. Okay, it is going 1 day back. That is fine. That is because of time zone issue. So we will discuss how to fix the time zone and all in the return time functions in Power Platform. So let me go back. I'll select the first date. Okay, so I selected this one, and okay, this is the leave that was approved for the 3 days, right? So if I go to the October, so let's say 14 and 14 to 17, I supposed to update use the leave. Okay, let me go back to the October and 17, right? So for 3 days. then it should be 16. So 3 days leaves. The status is approved. Okay, it will go back. Even if you see here, the earlier it was casual option was there, but now it is not there because this got updated. Leave type I selected, finance and everything, all the fields are selected, and now I can say update. Now you can see what it should do. It should update the data for the selected item only. Right, and this is going to update based on this Power App ID. It got updated. Yes, this is getting updated. At 6:40 we triggered. Let me. It will take a time, some time from online to local synchronization. But if I open this, is where you can see now the 3 days use is approved. For the 5 days, it is not affected. It was remain as it is, right? So what I will do, I will again filter. I'll select this 5 days. I don't want to approve it for the, okay, what is this 52 and all? Nothing, right? So I should go and I should say, I don't want to approve it for all these. So I would like to approve this for 2 days only. And let's say this is like earned leave, not a casual leave. Okay, so I enabled multiple select here, but that can be disabled. And I, if I say update leaves, right? So data gets updated. You need to wait. So this is the one here at 6:41. It got updated. So let me see. Okay, this 5 is still 5, and now it is synchronizing the changes. But on cloud we can see, right? So let me go to the cloud, and that 5 should be changed to 2. Okay, why this is not updated? 6:41, and if I go to this, this should change to 2 days or 3 days. 2 to 3, it is getting updated for 2 days, and it says approved. I want this 5 to be changed. This is not getting updated, right? But it is not throwing any error. So synchronization is taking time. Otherwise, everything is good. This should be changed. Even this should be again changed. But data filtering based on the Power App ID is looks like it is not working, or it is not showing the data. Okay, let me play the application here and zoom out. I will say E100, sorry, E0101. Okay, I can't see that here because this is not loaded. Okay, at 6:42, this got updated. But what it update. Okay, and no, it is taking time. After 6:42, even I updated. Let me play the application. Okay, let's wait. But yeah, we are able to perform the, yeah, this Power App ID can be used. Okay, and let me say override. Right. So if I say E0101, okay, this is not showing for this one. Okay, fine. Let me reload that. Maybe updated data is not published. It is still showing the synchronization, or updated app is not published, looks like. And I might be trying to do the things. So let me do the yes. Here, if I use 0101, okay, this is changed to approved, but yeah, I don't want to do this approval for you. So let me say department as a marketing, okay, not a marketing, finance, leave type as a casual. Instead of casual, I would say earned. Okay, let's skip this date as it is, and I will shorten this date by 2 days, and leave status is like approved and update. Well, it's not showing something is getting updated. So let's go and debug the application. Yes. Now might be it is showing the error for the app ID, for the data type and all control, and this is what something that cannot be used or cannot be compared like this. So in that case, we need to figure out the different solution for the same. Okay, let me override, and this is like 100%. This is like 60%. Right, data table dot this. Yeah, still this is not showing error. Okay, let me play the application here. E010. Okay, so now this is not receiving the data from Power BI. So this will be only work with this inside the Power BI. But yes, what we have done, whatever we logic builded here in this application is fine. And E00, E01001, this. Okay, even we might need to refresh this, because this is refreshed before we perform the update, and this is getting updated. All right, so leave tracker, this gets updated now at 6:49. It's been okay. Let me it should show something like E100. Okay, I'm trying on the same employee, same record, and this should get updated to the 2. I want to truncate that. The department is finance, leave type is, I'm going to change the leave type as earn, and then I'm going to say approved and update leave. Okay, so this function is not calling, it is not performing any action. If I go here and if I say E0102, employee name is Nippo, department is HR, leave type is, let's say, casual. It can be modified later. So this is the start date. This is the, okay, this is the end date, and this is like leave status is pending, and I will say submit. Okay, it is submitting, it will move back. But since I changed this to the employee, instead of employee ID, I changed to this Power App ID. This is not behaving, meaning this is like, looks like this is not filtering the data for the values. So let me try to debug. So debugging will take a couple of minutes, but you should always prefer to use the unique value. So here I'm using Power Apps, but you can create a key of multiple columns. So you might go and create the key of these columns, and then it should go and at the time of submitting the key, filter the data based on the key and all. So lots of things can be done. And let me go back. Let me open the application. Okay, so now the problem, we understood that if we use this employee ID, we won't be able to perform. Okay, we won't be able to perform. Now the issue you can see here is we will not be able to make the selection of any ID and all here, nothing. Right, so this is how Power Apps works. Once it pass the data, it will not always keep passing the data. So until you complete the development, you should not leave this window or that loaded data. Even let me, there is no way, right, to refresh the sources and all. So here, if I click on this is working, but you can pick the other methods, like you can use the employee ID and then start date and end days or number of days to filter, right? And you are going to update this. So here what we can do is employee ID is equals to, so input employee ID dot selected dot value, and, or I can use this kind of and. Okay, ampersand is fine. And then I should say leave, I should say, yeah, so leave details. Total days is equal to, I should pick the days from the same source. If the total days is equals to, if this gets matched, right, or start date gets matched, right? So that could be the possibility that we can even change. In that case, we can cancel the leave and all. The scenarios I'm just trying to compare. So I will say if the start date is equals to, right, if the start date is equals to input start date, dot the selected date. If these two are going to match, okay, incompatible type text to this. So I will use the text here, input type, input start date dot selected date, and this is the formula I should use: hyphen dd hyphen mmm hyphen yy or mmyy. Right. So what I did, I used this. This is giving the warning. Okay, instead of this, if I use the and operator, this is not going to work. Expected, we expect this kind of operator. So this is what the fine. And now let me save this application. So you need to debug this application, right? And warning is fine. You can ignore the warning at this moment, but it is indicating something that could be affecting later. Okay, so from Power BI it is coming date, and from Excel it is in the form of text. So that's why this formula is supposed to use to normalize, and the date is like it's not like dd, it should be and dd, right? So let me save this, otherwise again. Okay, the format, if you use the different format, you will be getting an issue. So same format I try to use. Now let me publish this version. So you need to figure out a way how to identify that record as a unique record and then update. So I'm just trying to assume that my start date will not be changed, end date will be changed. Right. Let me publish this version once again. Let me publish this version once again. Let me try to refresh this. It should ask me for dataset permission. If this is not asking, that means the updated version is not populated. Okay, still not yet updated. Last data is updated at 6:42. If I go to the raise leave and update leave request, E01, but this is not updated. This formula is not updated. Even it is showing something as a message. Okay, I should EOF parent is closed. Oh, so there was a error in the formula. And this lookup, okay, this lookup is not closed. This is the problem, looks like. Okay, now it is not showing any message and all. So I'm good. So this is how you need to debug the things. Even this could be the reason that it might have not worked with that Power Apps ID, but this was supposed to work. But now I will try with this logic, and let me run. So let me save and publish. Edit in the formula bar. I can't see any warning and all. Okay, so This got published. Again, you need to wait for the couple of minutes. Okay, now this is not asking for the permission. Okay, let me reopen. I'm trying to reopen the app, Power BI instance only. Okay, how I can identify? So if I'll do this, and let's say okay. So I'm going to update this. Let me say this is a marketing department. From marketing, I will make this as a from casual. I will make this as a earn. Right, from leave type, I will sorry, leave status. I will update to approved. Okay, it is already approved. So I will say rejected. The two cannot be used. You should use one. Start date is same, and I'm going to change the end date for this one. Okay, I don't think so. This will work. If this is not working, it should show the message to access the Excel. Then and then only it will work. Right, but still, I would like to try this. And okay, so if I go down at the bottom, this is updated. I changed this date and all back to this got updated, but this record is not updated. Right? And I want to update that. So now I'm using employee ID and start date. Let me see if this is affecting anything. Select, go to the OneDrive and view online. So I selected E0020. The leaves were applied. Okay, 6 days leaves was there. I tried to remove that. Okay. So application is not behaving at this instance, but yeah, it behaved. Okay. So if I use this, it will start behaving. It will start behaving. Okay. If I use the employee ID only, but multiple conditions are not getting executed. Yeah, it is fine. At this moment, we can go ahead with the only one field as an employee ID. And let me close this. Here it is not getting populated. That application, updated application is not getting populated. That's the problem. Okay, in that case, what I can do is I can edit this. I can even remove this. So I don't want to edit the application. I want to remove this and I want to load the application once again. Whatever the application is published now is what something I wanted to load here. I will pick the data, this ID, this, and after department, it should be leave type. It should be start date. This platform behaves like this, but yeah, if it start working, it is a pretty much performing platform. And if I go and select choose application, I will say add. I don't want to go anywhere. I would like to say save, right? And this has been saved. Report is saved. Let me reopen the report. Kiran, this is the sales. This is the okay casuals to earn. I will make, and I will make this as a rejected, and I don't want to do anything, and I will say update. Okay, now it is updating. So the condition looks like it is not this was not good with this updated condition, or in that case, if you make the changes, you're supposed to go and load the fresh application, then it will work, right? So now I make this as a rejected, and if you go, if you see, this is working now fine. So now if I say view online, so you will be in a position to see for E20, E0020, this got updated to rejected, right? So the issue is, you can fix the issue. Even let me try with this logic whether this is working or not for me, because I want to use the Power App ID. And if this works, so let's say data table one dot selected dot Power Apps ID, and let me say save. Okay, then there is a problem. Okay, incompatible type. That's why this was not working. Somehow it was not giving the error. Even if I say text, okay, now it is not giving the error. Let me say. So what I will do, if the changes are done with this, I will reload the application. I will say publish this. I will reload that application in the, or this published app into the Power Apps. Again, I will go to the edit report. Okay, let's wait. Let me do the publication one or two, three times. Not sure which one will get updated faster. Right. So let me say this, and if I go and if I say remove, and this is what the thing I will do once again. So this is every time activity, then the Power App ID, then employee ID, then employee name, then department, then leave type, then start date, end date, number of days, and okay, number of days, and then leave status. Go back and select the start date, end date, and then say save. Okay, and let me connect to the application now. And now let me say save. Close this window and reload the application. Now this should work. This is what I expect. If that could be the reason. So the things you need to make sure that if you make the changes, once the application is completed, and once you load the application in this, so you should not make the changes in the formulas and all. Ideally it should work. Even I saw a couple of times it worked, and suddenly it start behaving weirdly. Okay, I'm not going to edit this. I'm going to use this. Okay. So now let me pick this one. Okay, this got changed sometime before to approved, right? But the Power BI is not refreshed. This status is changed to rejected. Okay, let me check whether the Excel. Okay, this got updated. That means we can okay, updating the data set, and yeah, same thing I will do for the E20, right? This is the employee. Okay, so the status is still approved. Looks like this is not updated at this. And let me go back, go to the online, and here I made that changes. This is rejected, but this data is not updated at the local. Looks like. Okay, whatever it is, I will use the different record here. Okay, I'll pick the example of E01001, right? And what I will do, I will say, okay, this is the pending one. So I'm going to approve this one, and I will change the dates to two. So let me say this is the finance department. This is the leave type of casual. I will say earned, and okay, start date I'll keep. So now start date is not going to affect for me. So I will use 3rd December to 5th December for 3 days, and leave type is or leave status is approved. And I will say update. Right. So that ID, whatever the ID I used here, this is causing the problem. Otherwise, it works fine. So it should work with the start date and other things. So again, it was not able to compare the start date because data type, right? So you need to normalize the things and to make sure. So how to do this? Okay, so let me do this for you here. Till the time you understood the issue, you will struggle a lot. And then employee ID is equal to data world one dot selected employee ID. Okay, this is completely fine. And if I have to give this, and I will say start date. Okay, so what I can do is start date, and this is again in the text format. So start date is equals to input start date dot selected date dot okay selected date, and this is giving the error for this. So I will parse the start date into the date format, right? Again it says what is this. So delegation warning, the highlighted part of this formula might not work correctly on the large data sets. Okay, and operator is not supported by this connector. Okay, so A and D can't be used. Okay, but I'll try to use this one. And I'm just using the value function so that my text value get converted to the date value. This is how you need to try the different ways until this gets worked. Okay, this is I'm publishing. Hope so this will work. No need to reload the application. I thought that could be the reason, but this is the issue of formula. Because every time it is going to load the application, whatever the latest application published on the Power App server. Right. So now let me go back. And okay, the status is approved. It shows approved, but here if you see, it is now rejected. Let's update the report. This is the pain with import data. If you are using the direct query mode, then it will automatically update the data. Sooner you patch the data, sooner you update the data, it will be updated. So now you can see this is reject. Okay, still this is not getting updated. It is rejected there even in my Excel also. Okay, so if I say E0020, okay, leave status here, it is rejected. This got updated. And why this is not showing this is updated here as a rejected? Oh, this is coming from, yeah, this is coming from the Power BI. The Power BI itself has a status of rejected. On first page, still it is showing approved on the second. Right. So let me select the one. Okay. So this might get updated later, but it is showing incorrect status. Right. So what I will do, I will pick the other employee that he 0101, and now I'm filtering the data using the AND operator based on the start date. So start date is same. So this is what the department. Okay, I will say marketing is the department. Okay, it's not marketing, it should be finance. And for the first record, I'm going to change this to the earn leave, or I'm going to change this to the sick leave. Okay, two selections are not valid for this. Leave status should be approved. Okay, now this is working. Okay, but the problem is you can see that this cannot be converted to the number. The date value which is coming from the Excel is not working. So comparison is not happening, and then you need to resolve the error. So we should get familiar with the date type functions, text type functions, and then we would be able to do. But yeah, this is what we wanted to do. Now, let's say you may want to delete the record. Whatever the record is selected here, you may want to delete. So you will be able to do that one also. So you can add one more button and use the remove function, and then you can use the filter there. So instead of this, okay, instead of raise leave, even I can pick the button. Okay, it's not to confuse my audience. This button I will use to remove the data. But remove the data from source, not from the Power BI. So I will say remove. Okay, remove, and then collection is leave details, and then item. So you should use the okay. So you should use the condition here that not employee ID. I can say, but the Power App ID is not going to work. So let me try this, but this is not going to work. Let me delete the record with the employee ID only. So employee ID, even I can say the record or item is like data table one dot selected dot, okay, dot selected. So now nothing is selected. That's why it is showing the error that incompatible type end date column in the data source. You are updating expects a type text and you are trying to using a date type. Okay, that's the problem. So data type here is a problem. That's why it is not working. But if we resolve that, so we could be in a position to remove that record. So you should select the record only. It's not like you should give the a specific condition for the employee ID. Whatever is selected there, you can use. So remove function we discussed in the past videos also. So this is all about the integration of Power Apps. So it's completely depends how you build the Power App. Once the Power App is working fine, then only you are supposed to load the app into the Power BI. Otherwise, this kind of challenges and updating is going on. So let me terminate the session here. But yeah, so the common use cases for this is write back scenario, meaning when someone wants to update the data for the Power BI report. So they need not to go to the source. They can update from the Power BI. That's the main purpose. Then even someone wants to trigger the approval flows or any other type of flows, it can be done from the report and even data correction. So this integration allows user to fix the data issue on the spot. Right? This is the benefit. But you should keep in mind that this can be done for the internal team. This cannot be done for the customers. So this will not work with the other domains. Then it meaning the whatever Power Apps you are going to use in the report. So it should be shared with all the Power BI users, those who are going to use the report. Otherwise, this will not work. Then data sources should be used. People should not use the Excel. That's the problem. I'm facing the more issues, but you should use the SharePoint or Dataverse or SQL. And then security and permission should be carefully taken for the data set and your application, right? So these are the things we need to make sure. So otherwise, this is the way to integrate the Power App into Power App application into the Power BI. Yeah, that's for this session. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Happy learning.